Okay, so today we're diving into something that I think is super relevant to a lot of our listeners. It's all about how to keep your body feeling as young as you feel on the inside. You know, we're going to be exploring fitness strategies that are kind of specifically tailored to boomers and Gen Xers, like us. I think we all want to be thriving as we age, right?
Absolutely. And there's actually a ton of research out there about how we can actually influence the way that our bodies age, like regardless of what our birth certificate says.
It's crazy, right? And a lot of the cool stuff that we're going to be talking about today actually comes from this podcast that I was listening to called Boomer X IQ, which, focuses on wisdom and wellness for our generation. And they had some really fascinating insights about how to actually reverse our biological age, which I think is really where we should start. Could you break down this whole biological age thing for us?
Sure. So think about it this way. Your chronological age is just a number, right? It's just how many years you've been around.
Right.
But your biological age is a little bit different. It's more of like a measure of how well your body's actually functioning. It takes into account things like, your heart health, your muscle mass, even how well your cells are replicating, all of that.
Okay, so like someone could be 50 years old chronologically,
right,
but have the biological age of a 40-year-old.
Exactly. And that's really where things like lifestyle choices come in. What you're eating, how much you're exercising, your sleep, how you manage stress, all of these things play a huge role in determining your biological age.
So it's not all just downhill after a certain birthday. We can actually change things up and kind of shift things in a positive direction.
Yeah, that's what's so exciting about it. And one of the most powerful tools that we have at our disposal is actually strength training.
Okay.
It's not about, getting totally ripped or becoming a bodybuilder, but it's more about preserving and even building muscle mass, which, as we know, naturally declines as we age.
Hold on. Did you say building muscle? I thought once you hit a certain age, it was all about just kind of trying to hold on to what you've got.
Yeah, that's a common misconception, but studies have actually shown that even older adults can experience some pretty significant muscle growth with a consistent strength training program.
Wow.
And this is because resistance exercise stimulates something called protein synthesis. So it's the process that your body uses to build and repair muscle tissue.
Oh, okay.
And by kind of fighting that age-related muscle loss, it's called sarcopenia, you're not just getting stronger, you're also improving your metabolism, your balance, your bone density. It's like a ripple effect on your overall health.
So it's not just about vanity.
No.
It's about function, right?
Yeah.
It's about being able to move through the world with more energy and confidence. I noticed that the Boomer X IQ podcast kept using this term functional strength. What does that mean exactly?
Well, functional strength is basically being able to do those everyday activities with ease, without really struggling. Think about carrying groceries, playing with your grandkids, getting up from a chair, even gardening.
Oh, yeah.
All of those things. It's about having the strength to really live your life to the fullest,
Yeah. Okay, I'm convinced. Strength training, got to do it. So what are some exercises we should be focusing on?
So some really great ones are squats.
Okay.
Squats are amazing because they work so many muscle groups all at once. Your legs, your glutes, your core. They're fantastic. Lunges are another one. Lunges are great for balance and stability.
Okay.
Push-ups, you can't go wrong with push-ups. They're a classic.
Yeah.
They're really good for upper body strength.
Uh-huh.
And then rows are another great one for strengthening your back, which is really important for posture and preventing all those aches and pains we tend to get as we age.
I can feel myself getting stronger just thinking about it. But they also talked a lot about mobility on the podcast.
Right.
Why is that so important?
Well, think about it this way. If your joints are really stiff and your muscles are tight, you're way more likely to get injured, and that can really set you back. Mobility is all about maintaining flexibility and range of motion so that you can move freely and comfortably.
So it's kind of like the oil that keeps the machine running smoothly.
Exactly. And there are a lot of different ways that you can work on your mobility. Things like yoga, Pilates, even just some simple stretching every day can make a really big difference.
Yeah.
Imagine being able to play with your grandkids without worrying about throwing your back out or just feeling stiff the next day.
That's the dream. But let's be honest, life happens, right? We get busy, we get tired. Sometimes it's hard to stick to a strict fitness routine. What are some smaller changes that we can make that will actually make a difference over time?
Well, I think one of the most powerful things you can do is really focus on nutrition. As we age, our bodies just become more sensitive to inflammation. So adopting an anti-inflammatory diet can really help with things like joint pain, energy levels, even just how you feel overall.
Okay, so what does an anti-inflammatory diet actually look like?
Well, it's basically about prioritizing whole, unprocessed foods. Things like fruits, veggies, lean protein, healthy fats.
Okay,
And then on the flip side, cutting back on processed foods, sugary drinks, and all of those unhealthy fats that we know aren't good for us.
okay.
Oh, and staying hydrated.
Yes,
That's so important.
water.
That alone can make a huge difference in how you feel.
And what about intermittent fasting? I've heard some good things about that too.
Yeah, that can definitely be beneficial as well, but it's always a good idea to talk to your doctor before making any major dietary changes, especially if you have any underlying health conditions.
Right.
You want to make sure that it's right for you.
Good point. Now, I also wanted to touch on recovery because the Boomer XIQ podcast mentioned this product called Fix.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So Fix is basically a supplement. It's a blend that's specifically designed to support muscle recovery and boost your energy levels. It's got things like branched chain amino acids, which are super important for muscle repair. It's also got electrolytes, which help with hydration and energy production.
That's interesting. Maybe we should do a whole other deep dive just on Fix sometime. But for now, I'm curious, what's the biggest takeaway that you want our listeners to walk away with today?
Well, I think more than anything, I just want everyone to know that they have more control over their health and how they age than they might think. It's really never too late to start making some positive changes, and even those small changes can really add up over time.
So, as we wrap up, I'd love for you to think about this. If you could reverse your biological age by even just a few years, what would you do differently? What activities would you embrace with like that renewed energy and vitality? What adventures would you finally have the strength and the stamina to pursue? The possibilities are really endless. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.